Welcome to the Imperial Grandstand. I'm Alan Imperial.
I'm Carlos Del Rosario.
And today, we're going to be talking about modifiers.
Oh my god, modifiers. Okay, we're excited about this. If you're new to Dungeons and Dragons, you're like, why are they so nerdy about math? What's
It's just
why
numbers.
is it so modifiers are so sexy. Oh.
And we're going to be talking about other things in the character sheet, but modifiers is where it's at.
Oh yes.
So, first thing, let's talk about what we did in the last episode, which is when we created the Bard on dndbeyond.com.
Yes, when last we left our heroes.
Yes.
Such a cliche. I love it. So yeah,
So we logged out. We're now logged back in to D&D Beyond, and where's our character?
Where is Relira, the bard, the half-elven bard?
Right. So it's pretty simple to find. We just go to our collections here, and we go to my characters. And right now we're using two characters because we made the bard before just to show you some things earlier. But here's us, and we just click on the name and the beautiful character.
Wow! Look at all those numbers. Oh my God! What does any of this mean?
Ooh, and there's a +3.
And it could be very intimidating, but you know what? We're here to give you some background. Maybe not everything about a character sheet. You know, even now as a novice DM, there are some things I'm confused by, but you know, just general stuff you just need to get going in a game. Yeah, that would be nice. So right here, we have our ability stats. So we have an 8 for strength, a 16 for dexterity, a 12 for constitution, and that's generally how we built our characters.
Remember, as the bard, we really like to focus on our charisma and our dexterity, which are both of the highest numbers at 16.
Yeah, that's where we put the most effort, and the other numbers, some numbers are good, but there are some numbers that are not so great. So we put priority again on dexterity and charisma.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Oops. Sorry, guys. But with wisdom, we gave an okay score, so we put a 14 there. And with intelligence,
Average.
And strength, we are a weak bard.
Yeah.
No, we're not hitting the gym. Arnold Schwarzenegger would be very displeased.
This reminds me of a Joxer build from The Witcher, where, yeah, super charismatic, great with his hands. Oh, he is not strong.
No. But, strength isn't everything. And remember, these modifiers that we will talk about, the +3, +1, etc.,
come from the
they
actual
come from those
numbers.
The base numbers. So everything kind of begins at 10. So 10 is your baseline. Every time it's 2 points up, it adds 1 modifier. So you see with Constitution, it's 12, therefore you get a 1.
Yep.
If it's 14, you get a 2. And if it was 16, you get a 3. If
and
it was if it were 13, you'd probably still have a +1 because it doesn't fall in, and because 10 is the base. If you go below that, you would get a -1 for a 9 and an 8. So something to consider. So yeah, let's see how this all comes together. Oh, also we have something called proficiency. Now, a proficiency bonus. Proficiency in life is something that you're generally good at. And you'll see how it works with the roles that you'll get soon enough. So let's just go for some ability check scenario, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right.
Now, this is something that you're walking around, and either you as the player character could ask, or sometimes it just happens.
Yes.
Depending on the scenario. So yeah, let's say we're traveling around our village, and there's a blacksmith, and I'm a cheapskate. maybe I want to try to get a discount on something. So we have a bunch of skills here that can help us with that. Maybe you want to be a jerk and try to intimidate them into the into the discount.
Could work.
Yeah, I don't like to play like that. I like to maybe perform or persuade, depending on how I'm fancying myself that session.
Mm-hmm.
But for this one, let's just try to persuade this guy.
All right. So, as you can see, persuasion is one of your skills. Your skills are directly tied in to one of your stats. So, persuasion is an offshoot of charisma. That's what the cha stands for. Yes.
Cha-cha-cha.
Cha-cha-cha.
Now, the other thing that we have to note is that there's a black dot, a full black
right there. That denotes persuasion. Now,
dot.
oh, sorry, that denotes
Proficiency.
proficiency. Yes.
For
So,
persuasion.
all right. So this is where we got to go into some, second grade math here.
Aw.
So I know, right? So we know that charisma is a +3.
Yep.
And we have a proficiency bonus of +2. Since this is an offshoot of charisma, which is a +3, and we're proficient at a +2, what does that make it, Alan?
3 plus 2. That's a full hand.
Yeah,
That's 5.
Oh, you got a gold star, buddy.
Yeah, I love stars.
So let's go through this scenario. You are trying to persuade a blacksmith into giving you cheaper prices.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't want to pay full price. Now, if this was pen and paper, we'd actually have a diary.
A die,
but we
like
don't have that right
like
now.
a D20.
Yep.
A 20-sided die. And as the DM, I would know the DC or the difficulty it would take. For something that's easy, would be he would have to roll over a 10. If it was medium, it would be over 15. If it was hard or above that, it would be over a 20.
Now let's
and
find
you would
out.
add your modifier. So
Yeah.
that's a +5. All right.
For us, for me personally, I love D&D Beyond either through the app or through the website, because instead of having to actually roll a die, we just have to click this button here with the +5.
Yes.
So we don't even have to remember that we're
Yes.
really good at persuasion, because it all keeps a track. The app.
Yeah. Yes. And the easy way to remember is that anything that involves a check, it's always going to be a D20 roll plus your modifier.
Yep.
So
let's
let's go for that.
Oh,
and
come on.
hopefully,
hopefully we get a good roll.
yeah. And just to be nice, let's just say that this blacksmith is an amiable fellow.
Nice.
He's an easy sell, and you just need to get over a 10. So
right.
let's see what happens here. So you click on that. Oh, 15. 15 plus 5.
Is
That's a
20.
Even if he was hard to convince, you still would have gotten it. If that difficulty
Yeah.
was 20, you would have hit it right on the nose.
Now, something that I really love about the app is the fact that it tells us that it's a check because we just clicked on it.
Yes.
What we did, and with this little carrot, it keeps track of all of the rolls. Because sometimes the DM will just go back and say, hey, what did we roll again for X, Y, and Z reasons? So this is one of the reasons why I think the app is great, because it keeps track of all your rolls until we click the clear all button. And for these, I'm not. I'm just going to keep it hidden.
Yeah.
But we get the discount. And now if I want to buy, let's say, some bolts for our crossbow, or maybe he has some magical item, we don't pay full price.
You see, you got to haggle. You got to haggle in the world of D&D. That's how things get done. All right, let's change it up to something that Relira, our character, is not proficient in. So let's just say they need to sneak past some guards.
Right.
Yes, and they need to roll over a 13.
Now, the really good thing about this, if we're using stealth, is that we're still good at dexterity checks, which is what
Yeah.
this DEX means.
Yeah, can we scroll up a bit? Let's
Sure.
just see what our base dexterity score is. So we get a
16.
+3 for dexterity.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you go down to stealth in the skill, yeah, it's a 1-to-1 because it is a it's an offshoot of dexterity, but you do not have
That little
proficiency
black dot.
in stealth.
And it says not proficient. This is why I love the app, because yeah, sometimes you just don't know what some of these things are, and just hovering over with your cursor just reminds you.
Yeah.
Now let's see if we can sneak past these guards.
Oh snap!
It's a 13.
It is a 13.
So at first it just showed us the die, and it's like, hey, where did that big box go? And we just have to unhide it, and bada bing.
Yep, and he makes that stealth check, and
All
he's
right,
sneaking past a guard. So there we go.
nice.
All right. One last example. Let's just say that you're trying to push a very, very heavy door open.
Ah, oh, at least we don't have to hold the door open. All right, so amongst our skills, we have to find the one for strength.
Strength. So this would be, I would say, either a strength check or an athletics check.
Right.
And
So-
you could roll. But the problem is, Rhalyra, not too strong. And there are no modifiers for either strength or athletics. It would both be a -1.
All right.
So it's basically the same here. So let's just see if he does it. And
ooh,
if it were an easy door, yeah, he'd get through. But if it was a very hard door to get through, or if it was just a medium door to get through, he'd have to get over a 15.
and we would clearly
He would
fail.
clearly fail.
Dang it.
Whether it's an athletics check or a strength check, really up to the DM. I think in this case, if I know that your strength and athletics are basically the same, either one would be fine.
Nice. And that's the real key thing about all of this. While you're doing all these type of checks, just check in with your DM, because not only are we just trying to just roll the die, but this is times when we could actually RP as the character. Like, how are we sneaking by? What are we doing at the same time? Are we sweating? You know, like in Mission Impossible when they're trying to break into the knock list.
Oh my good.
So-
Wow, that would be an amazing thing to DM. Just
Yeah.
trying to sneak into CIA headquarters. Wow.
Yeah. So if you're new to Dungeons and Dragons, don't just let the roll happen. You know, this is where we're building the universe with our DMs.
Yes.
So, take advantage of it to have fun.
The one last thing I want to talk about are saving throws. Now, saving throws are different from the checks, the ability checks that we've just mentioned. Ability checks are more or less
Things that I think the player character that we are doing. Hey, I want to sneak past the
Yes.
guard. Hey, I want to get a discount. Hey, I have to hold this door open. I have to hold this door for whatever reason.
and the dice and the modifiers, that's just how the world reacts to what you're doing. But a saving throw is different. That is something that is unavoidable and is happening to you. So let's just say that the floor underneath you caves in and below are a bunch of spikes. You need to jump out of that just in time. That would be a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, nice.
So I would say the difficulty off the top of my head would be 12. Let's see if you survive. And if you fall into the pit, then you'd suffer some damage.
Now, the nice thing is that we're proficient in charisma and dexterity as a bard. So we have really good numbers.
Yes.
So once again, we just click on this +5, and
Oh, you just made it.
Woof!
Whew.
Now, if we didn't have the +5, oh, it would have went south.
Yes. And keep in mind that the numbers, like the difficulty is 13, sometimes, or a lot of times, it's only the DM that knows that, and that's because it's just to make it dramatic.
Yeah.
It's like
It's a surprise.
It's a surprise, and it's like you don't know what you rolled, you know what you did, but you may not. Yeah, there's some things that you don't know as a person. Like, did I actually succeed? You don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's those are saves and generally rolling the d20 for ability checks and saving throws. Oh,
Now,
yes.
I love the fact that they color code it in the app to let us know what's happening because it tells a little story.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't tell us the last 20 things. It only goes back to just to let people know because it's something that I looked up. Yeah, so that's the difference between a check and a saving throw. One is the check is that hey, we're doing something as the player character, and it does it happen or not. Whereas the saving throws, it's we're walking along minding our own business, being a nice party, and then the DM just messes with us.
That's usually how it works.
Dang it.
Yes. All right, let's move on to a little bit of combat and how rolls work into it.
So we're just gonna hide our rolls by clicking that down.
All right.
Right?
So you are in a forest,
Okay.
and you see a goblin.
Ooh.
Oh.
How far away is he?
I would say 30 feet.
Okay, so far enough, but
Yes,
not close.
an enemy goblin. We know that the goblins are there, and you are not surprising him. He sees you, and you see it.
Okay, so which is really important.
Yeah.
And we're not going to go into
We're
why,
not going to go into that.
we're just going to say
that's still something I'm very shaky on, surprise and hiding and all that.
Yeah.
But let's just say
we notice each other at the same time.
notice each other at the same time.
How many and it's just the one goblin.
It's just the one goblin, just as an example.
Great. So this is what happens next.
Oh.
Because as the player character, I want to draw my bow.
Oh, okay. Well, if you want to draw your bow, you're initiating combat, and remember the word initiating. Yes. So, just to be very polite, we have something called initiative, and initiative is directly related to your dexterity score. So, as you can see, you have a dexterity of 3. Therefore, your initiative is a 3 as well.
It shares that modifier, right?
There are some characters whose dexterities are very low, so they would have an initiative of -1 or maybe -2. But initiative is how you determine who goes first, and the highest number is the person that goes first, or that's how you determine the order. You might have 5 players and your enemies. Generally, you'd all roll initiative. Sometimes for the enemy combatants, maybe the initiative or their initiative rolls are pre-generated, just to speed things up. But
Maybe they're not.
maybe they're not.
But all we have to know is that when the DM says roll for initiative, either we do the d20, or for us, we just click on this +3.
Yep. And so we roll for initiative there.
There we go. Ooh.
13, good score. And let's just say that the goblin got a 10 for initiative.
All right.
So it is Relira's turn.
Nice. We go first. So I have my crossbow out. It's 30 feet away. Now, in the last episode, we already equipped by wielding our light crossbow. So it should look like this. Now, we notice a few things. The first thing is we have this big 80. Oh, I just clicked on it. You know what? That's fine. If we click on it, it tells us a lot of things. Are we good at it? What kind of weapon type this is? If it is ranged, and it tells us how far away can we hit stuff. And for us, we just have to know, hey, it's in our range.
Yes.
To make it simple.
Right now, yeah.
And here's the most important thing: the damage. 1d8 plus 3. We get the most important thing is what die do we use? Because the modifiers could change, and it's the 1d8. Now the nice thing is, we don't have to figure out the math by ourselves. How do I get out of this? There we go. Because the app does it for us. Now, if I just want to roll for damage, I can click on this die.
Yes.
But that's not how the game works.
Yes, you see, characters have something called an armor class. And an armor class isn't just related to armor. It is all of the defensive capabilities of a character. So it could be the armor that they're wearing. Maybe they're wearing plate armor or chainmail. But I know in your case, Rulira is just wearing some leather armor.
Mm-hmm.
But
and just to show the audience.
Yes, there we go. Which is 11 plus your dexterity bonus. Dexterity again. It's not just what you can do with your hands. It's also how you move,
dodge and weave.
How you dodge and weave. So we're keeping that in mind, and this is your defensive capability. Now, going to the goblin, this is what we call a stat block, and generally players are not privy to this, but
I've never seen this before.
Just
ever.
Just to see, because yes, goblins and other things, they have stats too, but we can see that the armor class is 15 for a goblin. So in order to hit a goblin, you would need to roll something that amounts to 15. And remember that you have a modifier as well of +5, which is going to be your proficiency bonus 2. And since it's a ranged weapon, you're also using your dexterity modifier, which is a +3. So again, that would be 5.
It's a whole hand.
Yeah, there we go. So
we have to try to hit the goblin before we could try to damage it.
Yes. So let's see if we hit this goblin.
All right. So,
and as a player, often you don't know what the AC or the armor class of the opponent is. You just have to remember or write notes.
Yeah. I know for my table in our sessions, we always write down what we think the armor class is, even if we're off by 1 or 2, because sometimes we won't roll like a 15. We'll roll a 17, and we're like, all right, guys, everybody has to roll higher than a 17. Let's do this, just because that's the first roll.
So let's
try to hit him.
Let's see if we hit him.
16.
16.
Now
16 plus 5, 21. So that's definitely a hit. Now, Rolira can roll for damage.
Nice. And again, it's color coded, so I just hide it. Click on our damage here.
Yes.
Ooh.
So
4 plus our 3 gives us 7.
Yes. So that's it. That's really cool.
I think that
7 damage.
I think that brings down the goblin.
Yeah, it probably does, which is bad for the example because I want the goblin to fight. But let's just say he's still up.
Okay, let's say he's down to 1.
Down to 1, sure. He's a very special goblin.
Well, actually, us as the player character wouldn't know its HP.
Yes. But you've fought enough goblins to know their HP by now.
7.
All right, so the 1d8 relates to the weapon that he's using. So we know that crossbows naturally have a damage of 1d8.
Mm-hmm.
The 3 refers to the dexterity modifier, So that accounts for the entire amount of damage. So
Right.
it's what you roll plus your modifier, which is dexterity, which is 3.
Yep.
So 7
Now,
damage, great.
from a player character standpoint, if you are using the app, it just does all of this for you. And we're just letting you know, hey, how do we get these numbers? Because, they're already filled out for us.
Yeah. All right. So not over yet. Let's just say the goblin still has some life left, and let's just say that they roll 2. And you can just roll a d20 from here.
Yeah.
And I would say they have a how much do they have to hit? They would have a +4 to hit.
Yep.
With a short bow. Okay. Oh, let me see that. Yeah, let's see. Bring it up here. So they would have a +4 to hit with a ranged weapon attack.
And they have a range of
80. So yeah, this is like face off.
Off.
All right, so they roll a d20, and we'll just add
1 die.
Yep. Here we go. Ooh.
Oh.
19. Okay, I was scared there.
Woo!
19 plus.
They're +4.
They're +4, so that would be 23. They definitely hit you, and you definitely have damage. Now,
Oof.
a goblin has what here? They have a short bow.
1d6
a
plus
1d6 plus 2, and remember that the +2, since
is their dexterity bonus.
Their dexterity,
it's
modifier, because
ranged.
Yeah, it's a ranged weapon. All right, so let's roll a 1d6 plus 2. So I would find the cube.
Yep.
Roll it, and I would add +2 from here. All right, not a lot of damage. Altogether, it would be 3. So
all right.
the damage sustained for a first level character, and
That's
man,
like a third of our life.
I know. Goblins, you think they would be easy on you. Like, if you're a first level character against one goblin, that's actually quite a bit.
Oof. So there's a few different ways to take damage. We could either click on that down carrot over there. Oh, no. I'm sorry. It's not like the app. So we have to click on damage here. Oh, no. We just have to click on 3 damage. There we go. And that automatically does the math for us. And it's like, son of a gun.
Yeah. And we'll leave it here for now.
We could have clicked the carrots, but, there we go.
Yeah.
If you need to see it bigger on screen. But you just have to make sure that our HP gets to 6.
Yes. All right. Well, those are some really good examples of how a round of combat is. And generally a round, when you go through all the players, is 6 seconds.
Yeah. That matters when it gets into more complicated stuff, like spellcasting, which is going to be a different video.
Yeah.
Because as a bard, we definitely have spells, but we're not going to go over that today.
It can get very complicated, but 6 seconds in-game, not in life, but in-game, that is 6 seconds.
You have 6 seconds exactly to make a decision. If you don't, no.
No. Pop quiz, hot shot.
Shoot the hostage. I have a crossbow. It's fine.
All right. Moving on. So to round this up, let's go into how to share things with your DM, which would become very helpful. They want to know, what you can do, what your capabilities are, and it's actually quite simple. So you have a share button right there.
Yeah. And one of the reasons why, just to show our audience, we have these passive checks. So your DM doesn't have to ask you like a million times while you're doing something. Hey, what's your wisdom? What's your, investigation?
Yeah.
Just so that way, while you're walking around, your DM could just, do passive stuff.
Yeah, as a DM, I normally have a cheat sheet of the fast stats that my player characters have, just so that I don't have to constantly ask them, oh, what's your dexterity modifier again? It's like, oh, no, I have it right then and there. And it saves a lot of time. So let's go through sharing. And
so one way to do it is just generate the link here. So if you just want to do that, awesome.
Yep.
But
Share
that's
through.
not the best way, in my opinion.
No, what is the best way in your opinion?
Oh, it's going to be the just a good PDF, just a good old school.
Yeah.
Because then we get to print it out.
Yeah, and I really, I didn't play Dungeons and Dragons as a kid, but for some reason I get nostalgic when I see the old-fashioned PDF.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah. So we just have to go to the builder here,
Yeah.
and we go all the way to this little symbol down there.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let's go back.
I think it's what's next.
Yeah.
There we go.
There you go.
And then we get
And-
to export to a PDF.
Export a PDF. Yeah, let's see what happens when we export a PDF. Yeah. And
Because I think the last one isn't a PDF, it's
Yeah.
just the link.
Yeah, it's the link. They get a link to your character sheet page. They don't get to make any edits or anything. It's just for their edification.
Right.
But
This is a
yeah,
lot
this is-
better with the traditional
Yeah.
board. What do
Yeah.
they call that? The shields or whatever?
Yeah, it's the DM screen and stuff.
Thank you, the
Yeah.
DM screen.
Yeah, I like having a paper version handy. Let's just see what the traditional character sheet looks like in the browser.
Oh, the actual PDF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and export to PDF. And let's just copy and paste that. Or, oh my God! And it's basically the same as the other page, except that you can't really touch these. When you hit a number, it doesn't roll a dice. But yeah, there is a beauty to this thing. I love it. It's so clean.
Yeah. Super important stuff if you're doing it this way, besides having your modifiers here, like our dexterity and constitution, and having all our skills. Instead of oops, I went too far down. Instead of having black dots for our proficiencies, we have these little P's. Now all the numbers are the same, but I like those little P's. It's very like, yeah,
Yeah.
like you're filling it in.
Very nice.
All right.
Yeah. Let's just go back to the original character sheet, and let's just show them how. Let's just say you want to.
Oh, we talked about in the last episode. Let's say we need to add new campaigns.
Yeah. Let's do that. So from the character sheet, let's just give them a guide here. So from that we would if you wanted to change things retroactively.
And you basically could change everything.
Yeah.
We just have to go to the anvil again, which is the builder. And then it's it brings us to the class first and lets us know where we're at. Now this is important if we level up.
Yes.
Or if we have to manage our HP.
Yes.
You actually have to do.
No, that's actually very important in the game, and you definitely if you keep on playing, you'll definitely need to change your level, and therefore your HP would change.
Yep. We don't have to do that right now. I think it's under home race.
Go. Oh.
All
right, go home and then hit the blue. There we go. And let's just say they tell you, you know what? We didn't tell you we're doing some critical role content. Yeah. Let's add that. So
Great.
There you go. Done.
And then that's it. You just have to hit this blue arrow to
and
that's why it happened.
And maybe you want to double check some of your settings. Maybe your proficiencies are not in the right place. Happens to everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we just have to go here and be like, you know what? No. I want to have a dex on intelligence instead, for whatever reason. We could change that. And that's how we would change that. And bada bing. Ooh, let's say we want to change our proficiencies instead of deception. We're like, oh man, when we had a roll before to do the athletics check,
Uh-huh.
I didn't like failing. Oh, I didn't like being weak, so it's like, bam.
Yeah, you could do that.
Again, check
It's
with your
up
DM
to you.
if you haven't played your game yet. Yeah, change this all you want. If you're like, oh, I'd rather have
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z. But once you hand it in to your DM, if you make any changes, let them know to see if it's
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, after the first game, when your player characters they get a handle over their characters, maybe it's like, oh, yeah, you know what? Maybe having it in this proficiency in this place, this doesn't make any sense. I'm like, I would not say no to beginning people. Like by the third or fourth session, things become
Should
more
be locked
concrete,
in.
and there's a commitment. But it's like for brand new players, yeah, I'm very lenient when it comes to this type of stuff.
Yeah. And then if you want to go all the way, you could actually change your class if you wanted to. I like being a bard, so I don't think we should, but you kind of could.
All right then. So I think we've covered it. Just broad strokes on making a character and what the character sheet does. There is much more to it, but we're not going to go into that right now. But you know what? I think you're just about ready to do your first adventure, your first campaign.
Yeah. It's a magical moment when you get your first critical roll, which we haven't even talked about.
Yeah, it'll come up, and we're talking about advantage and disadvantage and all that. But you know what? Just to get started, I think you'll do just fine. And just rule of thumb as a player, just all you have to worry about is what you want to do. Just tell your DM, and they'll just tell you if you can do it, and you'll go for a roll or a check or a save. It's really that simple.
Nice. And just go back to the character sheet one last time. And the one thing we forgot to talk about, yeah, if you want to change your avatar, you could do all that from up here. But that's for another time.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like the silhouette.
It's nice.
Thank you very much for watching. I hope
Hope
we
we
didn't
didn't waste your time.